All right. So this is my internship video for my fall 2023 internship with the Chesterfield Sports Association. Brief overview of the organization. We are a nonprofit that opened in March 2023, catering to primarily to youth sports. We have 97,000 square feet available with 9 basketball courts that can convert it to up to 18 volleyball courts. Um, as part of the funding and kind of getting a building off the ground, we're partnered with several local clubs, including High Performance Volleyball, Stratman Sports, CNR Basketball, and Bradley Beal Elite. Um, my role with the organization is the operations manager, and kind of some of the duties that come with that are to complete facility utilization reports, accounting, and QuickBooks, display court assignments on our digital signage, which are TV monitors that are mounted at the front of the lobby, get courts ready for play, which consists of cleaning the floors and moving bleachers around, and setting up volleyball nets to various heights. And then also just general supervision. Somebody always has to be there babysitting the facility when we're open. No matter how many practices or games are going on, you got to have somebody there kind of watching over everything. Um, some established goals I had with this internship were to increase court utilization. The board, when I came on, stated their goal would be 85% or more during our peak times, which are evenings and weekends, and also increase our social media presence. We do have a Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages for the business, so being able to tap into those more and grow our presence on there. And then also learn more about corporate partnerships. We have scoreboard banners and kind of vinyl murals in the lobby that various companies have, struck an agreement with us for. But being able to learn more about how those deals are done and kind of what the benefits are for each side was one of my goals I had as well. And did I achieve these goals? Yes and no. When I came on in August, those first couple months, we were not hitting 85%, which was the stated goal for our core utilization. But now in October, November, and in December, it looks like we will as well. We have been hitting 85% every week, with the exception of Thanksgiving, because had a lot of rentals that were off that week, just because their club kind of was going with the school schedule. So that's been good. That means business is healthy and revenue's coming in because we're actively, renting the course out to people. Social media, just kind of with all the other things I was doing that kind of got put on the back burner. So since I am continuing with the same company in the spring, definitely something to look at going forward, but that's not something I've gotten around to yet. And then with the corporate partnership, I kind of know how much we charge now, and while I'm not going to be directly involved with selling those at the moment, it was cool to kind of see the different options we have, and I can point people in the right direction of who to talk to then. And then also we did introduce a flyer that has a number of local hotels and businesses in it, as well as a QR code that you can scan to kind of order food or book rooms through that. And with that, we're able to track kind of how many people are utilizing our flyer and kind of track the success of that activation. I think once we get a lot of that data in, it'll be helpful to pitch to future corporate partners. We can say, hey, this is how much benefit is really going to provide you, how much eyes are going to be on your business. What did I learn? The biggest thing would definitely be that just people lose a lot of stuff. One of the duties I had as well was to kind of put together a policy for how long we're going to keep lost items and how's the best way to organize it, and then ultimately donate those. But it's just amazing to see how fast we accumulate water bottles, sweatshirts, jackets, basketballs, shoes, just everything. I mean, within a couple of days, if it's a weekend, I mean, you've got several boxes full of stuff. Um, so just trying the best way to manage that and respond to, emails and voicemails about lost items, and eventually discard the rest that don't get claimed, is definitely an eye opener for sure. Um, And then also proactive planning and communication is key with some of these bigger tournaments. While I was been here, I really tried to start reaching out ahead of time to the tournament director, the site manager, whoever's going to be out there for that event, and just kind of see what their needs are. What is the up to date schedule really looking like? Because a lot of these events get booked months in advance or more. And we might have just a placeholder there where they're going to have the whole facility from like 8 in the morning to 10 at night. Is that still accurate, or is there going to be potentially an opportunity where they're done early and we can rent to somebody else after the fact? Um, and then also there's just almost always more than one way to accomplish something. Uh, some of the people I work with tend to think that if it's not their idea, it's not a good idea. But I've already learned that, that's not a good attitude to have. And there's definitely, what might initially seem like, oh, I don't think that'll work. If you just try it, there's a good chance it'll work out okay. And then you can kind of just try, a bunch of different ways and learn and go from there. That's kind of the beauty of being at a new company. There's not really like an established way of doing things. So there's more opportunity to kind of put yourself out there and see what you're able to accomplish. Um, that's really just my biggest takeaway is just you'll learn a lot in a short period of time. And that's especially true at a small organization with, less staff. I mean, there's myself, the food and beverage manager, our maintenance supervisor, and the GM. Those are kind of the four full-time supervisors that we have. And then we have some facility attendants and concessions workers under that. But, it's really the four of us kind of leading the daily charge, so to speak. And then I'd also say just be aware that, there's not a ton of money in sports. And, people that work in sports are usually pretty passionate about sports as well. So those two things together kind of lead to people having busy schedules. And typically that's because they have multiple jobs or interests or something going on. Like our GM, he's a high school head basketball coach in addition to working here. So, that creates some schedule challenges. Our food and beverage supervisor, um, he's kind of had to morph into more of a part-time consultant just due to he also coaches for HP club teams and still manages a different concession stand at Legacy. So just having to balance everyone's busy schedule and make sure you get the critical shifts covered has been a challenge. Personal growth, I think leadership and strategic thinking, just kind of when you're walking the courts, you're not just out there watching the game, you're out there looking for spills, looking for trash, answering questions. I mean, you get the ability just to kind of look at things differently. And you'll be surprised how you don't even really notice the game sometimes going on around you because you're just so focused on staying ahead of what's going on with the building. And the goal really should just be where people don't even notice you because there's not bathrooms or trash or anything else that's gonna put a damper on their experience because you've already taken care of it. What would I tell my younger self? Just don't discount a career in sports. Even if you don't play varsity high school or in college, there's plenty of jobs out there in the sports world for you. If you're willing to put the work in and network and kind of do these internships, you'll be able to find a good spot that's a good fit for you. And you don't have to be a high level athlete to work in sports. That's great if you are, it'll help you, but you don't have to be. And then advice for incoming students, I would just say connect with guest speakers on LinkedIn. They definitely notice that kind of extra step that you're taking to put yourself out there and build a connection. And then when it comes time on Fridays when they're asking questions to the class, more than likely you'll be able to ask yours and get what you want out of that conversation because they'll recognize your name and face and everything from LinkedIn. And then also just start applying for internships as soon as possible. Even if you're a freshman, don't feel like you need to wait. With the revised curriculum that Dr. B has in place now, you can do up to 5 internships. I would definitely take advantage of that. It'll probably be more fun and more beneficial than taking an additional class anyway. But it'll really help your resume down the road when you can say that you either did a longer internship with a couple companies or you worked 4 or 5 different places already in the sports world. That kind of gives some credibility to your classwork that you have this hands-on experience as well. Um, And then while you're there, don't be afraid to ask for more tasks. Don't feel like you have to limit yourself to just the small role that you're given initially. If you're willing to use that as an opportunity to show your worth and your abilities, people will take notice of that, and you'll get a lot more experience in a short amount of time than if you just kind of stay to the two or three things they had outlined for you originally. And it's great to have a wide variety of skills and experiences. Advice about the program, I would just say don't get too far behind on assignments. It can be tempting, especially if you're busy with internships or work or something else, or sports, to take advantage of kind of the flexible deadlines that exist within this program. But it can be a slippery slope, and then pretty soon you've got several that are just piling up on you. So I would just try and stay ahead of it. Stay in the motion of the class, and get your assignments done each week. And then also try to attend every class. Um, a lot of times there's points, given out for the workshop Wednesdays, and you get valuable information in the lectures on Mondays and from the guest speakers on Friday. So it all goes hand in hand and helps your success in the class. So yeah, that was my fall 2022 internship, 2023 internship with CSA.